Once upon a time there was an Earth Goddess, or an Earth Mother. She held influence over most of Europe, and she ruled it with a gentle iron fist. Unfortunately, her power was not absolute. She could not protect her children indefinitely, and her children needed protection. They were weak. They were not warriors. They were farmers, intended to the land. The Earth Goddess had thousands of years to prepare her children to fight off any foes that came their way. But she would ultimately fail them in the end, thinking that her power was absolute. The sky gods in the east would eventually hear of the Earth Goddess, and they would begin preparations for an invasion of the west. Sometime between 2200 and 1900 BC, their preparations would become complete. These sky gods would march westward and destroy the Earth Goddess, like it was a one-sided Pokemon battle between Fearow and Tangela. The Earth Goddess was devastated. All her male children were torn asunder, and only her daughters remained. But the sky gods were not satisfied with consuming only the men. They wanted a total victory, and the only way this would happen is if they absorbed the remaining women into their ranks as well. The universe decided to let this happen, and the indigenous Europeans that held dominion over their land for thousands of years perished in the blink of an eye. This massacre started a new chapter in European history. These sky gods decimated Western Europe and would make it their new home. They would become native to the land, and the Earth Goddess would become a forgotten relic of the past. The sky gods were different from the Earth Goddess. They were powerful. They could control thunder and lightning. Their sons and daughters were warriors that could protect themselves and expand their territory. The golden age of the sky gods saw the Vikings, Rome, and ancient Greece expand their territory abroad. Unfortunately, the sky gods did not have absolute power. They were just as vulnerable as the Earth Goddess. Around 1200 BCE, a new threat would emerge to their existence. The ancient Israelites would come onto the scene, and they would bide their time. The sky gods didn't know at the time, but their new foes would be formidable. Why? Because the gods that the Israelites embraced had a type advantage over the sky gods. They were sand and rock gods. Rock is super effective against flying types. The sky gods would resist these new gods for as long as they could. But one day, they decided that they couldn't take it anymore. They decided to take refuge in the sky and return in the future, when their children needed them the most. This allowed for the sand and rock gods to claim an easy victory over Europe. They would successfully colonize the children of the sky gods, but something unexpected happened. The sand and rock gods began infighting. The infighting would lead to several new branches being created. The first branch would become known as Christianity. The second branch would become known as Islam. Other branches like the Druze would also appear over time. This infighting continues into the modern world, where each branch wants the other branches to be torn asunder. The sand and rock gods tried to dominate the globe, despite their infighting, and were successful to some degree. They have managed to take over half the globe in the modern world. But the children of the sky gods are starting to decolonize themselves and embrace their parents that went into hiding. It is only a matter of time before the children of the sky gods liberate themselves from their sand god colonizers. The sand and rock gods are stuck in their ways. They have no room for growth. But the sky gods have plenty of room for growth, and they have evolved over the centuries. They have learned from the mistakes of the sand gods, and that invading the territory of other gods is no longer in their best interest. When the sky gods do return, it will be to protect their children and reclaim their long-lost territory. The sand gods were able to make the sky gods go into hiding, but the sky gods are not all powerful. They also have their own destiny. One thing that the sky gods did not know is that they were fighting a powerful illusion. The sand gods are an illusion powerful enough to have an impact on the real world, but they are just an illusion created by black magic. The Israelites and Semitic peoples abandoned their gods in the 4th century BCE. They would create a brand new god at this point and throw all their other gods under the bus. This has not gone unnoticed by the gods that were harmed or cannibalized by the new monstrosity that took their place. This fact will ultimately allow the sky gods to flourish in the future. This video is the history of religion in Europe. Thanks for listening. Have a fantastic day or night.